right, now put your penises away.
All right.
So it's really great to have you guys here because you know what? I know who you guys are. It makes life way easier for me. Like we've come cross paths, you know, now that I'm with Roadhounds and doing fun shit and a lot of cool things to come. I think this is, it's wonderful to have you guys here. If no one knows that's watching, this is the gentleman from Set for the Fall. And they make wonderful music.
Thank you.
And he has lasers behind him now.
How did that happen?
Can you make that hand gesture again and see if it happens again?
Bro,
That was pretty cool.
Yeah, like he went did a little rock and roll thing.
No, it's a one-time deal. But no, yeah. I'm excited to have you guys here. This entire interview is that. I wish mine did it. But no, I'm excited to have you guys here, and I'm really excited to see what you guys are up to. You know, it's been a while. Obviously, I creeped your page, see what you guys are up to. I creeped your music, your new shit, this shit, that shit. So what have you guys been up to since the forever since I saw you guys last?
Dropping new music.
Tell me more.
It's been on the forefront. So we have those 2 that we just dropped this year, and then we have a few more coming out at the beginning of the year. So right now we're just kind of, I think we're working on the artwork and all of it. So what we're trying to do is just kind of finish it all. So like all that's left is just planning dates.
You guys have a pretty strong. I mean, I go on Spotify, look up your streams. You guys are doing pretty well. I think it's wonderful to see. I'm obviously primarily unsigned artists and things like that. So to see, you're usually like, you see bands are 500 monthly listeners, 1,000. So you guys have like a really good presence, and I think that's wonderful. I do have a question though.
Yeah.
So no harm, no foul. I've paid to be on playlists. I've done that thing. Are you guys all organic? Do you hire a playlisting person? How do you guys take? And again, I will go on record to say I've done like playlisting, like paid for playlisting kind of stuff. Like obviously not bots, but like I'm still trying to figure out the world of going forward of like this new streaming situation. So I kind of want to pick your guys' brain and see what you guys thought about. And I think your numbers are super impressive.
That's crazy that you'd say that. That's all we've been talking about for the last few months. No, actually, all of that stuff is organic.
The only thing we paid for recently was conversion to. We did small ads, the new songs that came out, but the numbers you're seeing right now is completely organic. We paid for those ads, but like it was very. You're
finding success in those ads.
Yes.
So that's what I like, a big thing about this thing is not only for fans to watch a lot of these interviews, but the goal for me is to show other unsigned artists what other unsigned artists are doing successfully, unsuccessfully. So it's I want it to be an ecosystem of what is happening in the space to be able to yield the biggest thing. Because if you succeed, they succeed. If they succeed, you succeed. As long as everyone's on the same page of that kind of stuff. And I think you guys have something figured out. So if you want to share any kind of knowledge.
Yes. No, so Harrison is the one that, so we all kind of have our own little things in the band, and it was kind of like, Harrison, just figure out how do we do the ads, because ads are like a whole beast of it. It's new, like trying to figure out the whole forefront of that. And it was just like, figured it all out. Like, I was like, get on there, Harrison, and figure that out while we do everything else. And he's been the one that's been doing.
So he's the nerd, is what you're saying.
No, that's the crazy thing. I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm just trying to figure it out. But I think that's what you have to do is we don't know what we're doing at all. And the thing is, we're just trying different things. What we're trying right now is let's just do $10 a day. As far as ads go. And
where are you running them at? Are you running them on Spotify, Facebook, Instagram?
Right now we're doing Facebook and Instagram ads. I think we're trying to grow our TikTok up naturally without putting any money in. Let's just I'm thinking, let me just post once a day, see what happens, see where the most clicks of the day were. How do we catch that algorithm? Where do we fit in the algorithm? I'm just trying to figure all that stuff out now. but I would say if you're even going to bother doing ads or anything like that, make sure your product is good first, because you can spend, thousands of dollars in ads and your song sucks.
So what you're saying is your band is good.
Well, I'm just saying we've done the things where, we've worked with the producers.
You don't have to worry about your band is good. I'm a big fan of what you guys are doing. I think you guys have such a giant sound. It's wonderful. And your videos are cool. I was rehashing. I was going back to that video with all like the green. And I was like, this is great and it's the unsigned artists and things like that they understand they have to spend a couple bucks and figure out good, because it does go a long way. And your music is, when your visuals meet this, the professionalism of the music, it really does pay off. And I mean, your vocals on some of these songs are fucking fun. I was like, I actually showed one of the dudes from Breaking Ben, because I was like, hey, you have to listen to this band. Like, they have, like, if you're ever looking for any opener or stuff like that, I was like, this fits right in your realm.
Yes.
So it was, he dug it. They were really cool about it. So, I mean, it's not, hey, I'm not saying anything's going to come of it.
But if it does, I'm going to attribute it to you.
I'll take a 4-pack of 8-ounce Red Bulls and be great.
You got
There you go.
Just a heart attack in a can. That's all I want.
All right.
I don't know if we can afford that, but we'll try our hardest. We'll crowdfund for it.
That'd be hilarious. Live streaming's back. And you know where we're doing it? Over at Roadhounds. And it's fucking free. All you have to do is go to roadhounds.io and you go to the Metal City fucking free zone. That means it's free for you to come watch me be a complete idiot. It's pretty crazy. You can move the controls on your mobile screen with your hand, or you can use a keyboard. Just don't forget to take screenshots of your avatar, because I want to see it. You can discover free media inside Rock City. All you have to do is look for some terminals and click on some shit. Now you can learn about all your new favorite bands and all your next new headliners. If you want to join our community of Headbangers, all you have to do is subscribe. So you can get even more content by just subscribing at Roadhounds. So we're going to give you a free Metal City free zone. And then if you want extra super cool, awesome content, you just subscribe. We're going to make a positive difference to our music community. For once, finally, a positive fucking experience. Your sound is huge. It's super catchy. So I heard someone throw the term around producer. So do you guys outsource for when you write your music? Do you guys do a lot of it in house, or do you kind of combat both?
We've done a bunch of different things. Again, we've thrown a lot of stuff at the wall and see what stuck. We were really nervous coming into writing this next set of songs, because we had written everything ourselves in the past and then just gone to somebody to record it that would, give their advice on guitars and stuff like that. But this time around, we were like, all right, let's go into a studio and write a song from the ground up. So we worked with, we had met Andrew Bayless when we were out on tour previously, and we'd always wanted to do a song with him. And then he was down in Nashville now. And of course he's doing stuff with Jelly Roll and all that. So we had that cool opportunity to work with him, and went in and took 15-second idea and he created a song around it. And then we just started writing lyrics with, a guy named Dan Perlin. I'd never written songs with anybody else. So they were sitting there talking lyrics, and then I hopped in, and the Product of Pressure is what came out of that. And then Donovan, he's got a good friend named Kurt Martin. He's done, I'll let him tell you, but he knows more about him. So, but we got working.
Yeah, so like he was saying, initially it was just like us going into the studio and doing like the normal thing you would see back in the days. Like you take a week to write a song because you're like doing everything separate. Like we have vocals this day, guitars that day, whatever. So this time it was like when I reached out to Andrew and I was like, hey, let's work on the song finally, because at the time he was living in Ohio. So it's kind of a drive for us to drive up there for a song, and because we just couldn't afford it. And when you got to Nashville, it was like, well, now is the time. Should we just jump on Andrew Bayless? And because we're only like 5 hours from Nashville roughly, so it's not too terrible. And he was like, yeah, we'll get it. And I was assuming, like we'll just get it knocked out in like a couple days or something. And he's like, oh, we'll get it done in a day. And I was like, what?
Hey.
That was just how we like.
That's called a machine.
You know what I mean? And it was Yeah, and it was like we were so nervous. Like that's what he was saying. It was like we were just nervous because we're like, how do you go in there with nothing? I mean, we all had like ideas, but it was like the whole goal was to write from nothing with something for something
in a day.
When he was like, "We'll get it done in a day."
Hey,
yeah.
I might need to call this guy.
Oh, he's a wizard. Man.
Yeah,
he's got a good team around, dude.
Yeah,
that's impressive.
And that's what he did was he brought in a team of. Yeah,
that makes sense. So I mean that shit's cool. It's so fantastic to see. Like I have a studio here, and I'm always like have bands coming in. And I'm always trying to help write with them and stuff like that. And it's tough sometimes when you're a producer or a songwriter and you go, hey, here's the idea I have, and if they don't give a fuck to listen to what you're saying, it's like what am I here for? So it's good that you guys have that open mind to be like, hey, you guys have had success in the past, so I'm going to listen to you, which is also super important. And I'm guessing it wasn't cheap, so also that fucking is also shitty,
Yeah. And that was the goal, was like when we were going back into it was like, let's just, because we were so focused back then to like we could only work with one producer because that producer knows our sound. But then this time around we're like, well, let's just work with whoever that we want to work with. Like let's not box ourselves in. And so like Andrew Bayless was on there, my buddy Kurt, like he was saying, like he's been doing, he bounces around so often. I think now he's back in Los Angeles, but he works with the guy from Attila, Chris, not Franz, but the guitar player Chris. And then so him and Chris do like co-producing on a lot of stuff. And but Kurt's been all over the place, and
it was cool to work with Kurt. It was cool to work with Kurt because he pushed me
songs.
Yeah, he pushed me vocally. I mean, in the studio, like I'd sing it. He's like, "No, that's not gonna do it. You're gonna get this note. You're gonna sing this." And I was like, "Oh my gosh, this is." But it was awesome to be pushed vocally and to hear different melodies that I normally wouldn't hear. And now it just seems like second nature to sing it like that. But it's cool to work with different people.
I love that. I always tell bands all the time. I was like, if you can work with somebody else, do it, because you guys, it's that outside vibe of what you're. Mm-hmm. You ever just like, you sing something, you think it's cool, and you're like, man, this is fucking it, and then you go to show to someone and they're like, hey, this fucking sucks. Like, it sucks. So, I mean, I feel like having that second set of ears and someone that has a professional set of ears is nice to have. And I always tell a band, I was like, hey, even if it's like your friend that's just starting producing, utilize it. Like, figure that out. I love that you're working with like friends and stuff like that. Go to roadhounds.io and come hang out with me in the metaverse, while we watch live shows. We go through stores, maybe we'll give away some guitars, some drums, maybe some free root beer. Doesn't matter. Whatever you want, we're going to give it away. Go to roadhounds.io and subscribe now. Come hang out with me. Speaking about I talked about how expensive it is. So you guys at the point where, your band is funding your band, or are you guys still funding your band?
Yeah. So
go ahead.
So what happened was, for a little while, like during like the whole COVID situation was going on, like we weren't touring, obviously. So we all kind of lived like an hour to 2 hours away from each other. So the band wasn't really doing much, but we were still collecting like our royalties off of like the past songs. So our bank account was just like getting payments into it. And that's what kind of gave us the idea of like, well, we have this money at the time. Now we don't have that money anymore. No. Kind of been depleted. But we were like, hey, we have all this money in here. Let's be smart with it this time, and like work. I guess what he said, let's make a list of producers we want to work with, make a list of like people we want to get mixed by, or people like we want to write with, and like email all these people, or like instant message them on Facebook or Instagram or like TikTok, and just seeing if whoever reaches out, like like the worst thing they can say is no, and that's one kind of thing we've always kind of adapted.
I love that.
The worst thing someone's gonna say to you,
except the one guy who was like, "You guys suck."
It was me, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So love us.
That's why we lost that competition, man.
That's true. It was just all and it's crazy because with Roadhounds and what we're doing going forward is there's a ton of of new stuff that we're trying to break a mold of is we want to be able to, we gave one band a $7,500 investment, which they can use for studio, touring, this stuff. We've given a band, $1,500 investment, which they're using like for guitar packages and equipment and things like that. And we're starting relationships with companies like American Musical Supply to be able to supply these bands. But also what a lot of people don't know is, so Roadhounds is basically, what I always say is, it's a platform where if like you go to a festival and you want to hang out with your friends, you see these vendors. So when you go home, you don't have that anymore for an entire year until the next year. So Roadhounds wanted to create that, but also build a platform for unsigned artists. So every time someone subscribes, a portion of the subscription goes to supporting those unsigned artists, which that's where that $7,500 investment went for that one band, the $1,500 for this band. And we're going to continue to keep doing those things. And that's why I kind of want to pick your brain on like expensive and who's paying for what and what's paying for who. And then we also want to do a platform like if we stream your music inside the metaverse, like you guys get paid for that. Like, so we're trying to figure out ways of revenue for these bands because there aren't many. It's streaming, merch, touring, which as an unsigned artist, what are you getting? 50 to top $500. Maybe on an off day, if you can trick a promoter into paying you a couple $1,000, it's nice. But merch, obviously if you're not touring, you're not selling as much merch, so it's tough. So we want to make that platform for bands where we're able to support all of them. Whereas like, I always tell them, it's like, I would love to, every time we interview a band be able to present them with something, whether it's fucking $25 or $5,000, and stuff like that. So if like, when we're live, I want to be able to do things like that, and doing interviews like this, in our first starting of trying to build that content is moving towards that goal of, trying to support unsigned artists fully.
If I could say one thing to any unsigned artist, and I'm not saying we figured it all out because we're still working out the kinks, we've definitely built a better team around us and people we can call, is know how you're publishing, figure out your copyright. When you're writing songs, get that down on paper immediately so there isn't issues in the future. But don't take the money at first, pull it together and create a way for your band to support itself. It will wash out in the end, later on down the road, but don't, if you're wanting to put money into your band, try not to spend it out of your check. If the band's making money, just put that money back into the band is something I would suggest to anybody, because it will start to grow. And especially if you have the copyright stuff figured out, don't put your music out there unless you've done all that stuff with BMI and all that stuff, because
get those checks.
Yeah, you're losing the money.
Yeah. So that makes sense. I mean, I love that. And I love that you're open to giving knowledge to other bands that, I hate, and, I feel like it's starting to dwindle down, like the competition amongst bands. I feel like more now is like, hey, how do we all succeed? And on our end with people that, when we do festivals with DWP, it's like, who are these next bands? Who are the next headliners? And there's a lot of questioning that, like, there's nothing. Nobody has, nobody wants to develop bands, but everyone wants developed bands. So it's a new.
They want you to do it yourself, man.
Yeah. So it's, and I always tell bands, like, even when you sign to a label, it still doesn't end. You need to still hustle and hustle and hustle. So I love that you guys are out there hustling, doing what you have to do. And so it's fucking wonderful. This is a virtual city where metal culture thrives, and to be honest, there's nowhere else like it. So we want to show you what it's all about, and all you have to do is go to roadhounds.io and just subscribe. So you guys have a ton of new music coming out. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, there's a lot.
And what the hell are you doing with it?
First, we're gonna start releasing. So, like, that's the thing is, like, we're trying to figure out, like, that's what I said when we're putting together this whole package of, like, getting all the artwork done, getting all the stuff done, like publishing stuff, like the side of, like, getting it all uploaded, and then all we got to figure out from there is dates.
Yeah.
Because, like, now, like we were just talking about earlier, it's like as like an unsigned band, you don't have somebody telling you this is what you do, or there's not a way to do stuff like this. Like, you gotta just kind of. So now we're kind of playing the single game. Like, we're probably going to release a single per month until we're out of singles, and then kind of put that all on like an EP, and then start working on the next stuff. So
I think
by
that's
that time,
I think that's the vibe. Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes this, that seems like that's where everybody's going
with ideas.
Is the single game. I think especially for monthly listeners is like, that's what keeps it, releasing a new song, and keeping those monthly listeners to get to, the goal of 100,000 or 1 million monthly listeners to be able to grasp that distro deal or things like that.
The thing is too, like we were out for a while, but we've had songs, we had enough to release, but if you don't stagger it out and you don't have a net, like you need to have enough music that's going to take you 6 months down the road, because you need to get all the hard stuff done. And then you can get back into that season of writing, and you're not having to worry about Donovan does the pictures and Harrison does a lot of the TikTok videos. If you spend a weekend getting all that stuff ready, then when you get back together, you're able to just worry about writing the new stuff, because that stuff has been taken care of.
Yeah.
And you're getting that handled so that when you do get together, you're
6 months
you're having
of
fun again.
Basically. Yeah. That makes a lot of sense. And I think, again, if there's bands listening, because again, this is a platform for not only fans, but bands as well. And, I think this is everything that they've said, I will back up. I think this is all knowledgeable conversations that most people should understand. And, those younger bands that don't know what to do with the next steps, listen to these guys. I'm sure their inboxes are open to have those conversations.
Yep, absolutely.
Don't bother me because I don't have the answers. But no, I just, I wanted to get, I wanted to get you guys on the horn because I feel like you guys are developed, and I love that what you guys are doing. I'm a big fan of your music. And I think you guys are going to do great things. I think you guys are checking all the right boxes, and hopefully, Roadhounds has a lot of cool things up our sleeves that I would love to get you guys involved in.
Absolutely.
So keep on the lookout and spread the word, and, kind of tell people what we're doing. It's the whole new thing. But it's going to be fun, and I think you guys belong in this world with us. So I appreciate you guys for your time, and if you guys have anything else you want to dwell on, you can just tell me to fuck off.
Stay tuned. New Year's. Look on our socials. New Year's, and hopefully we'll have plenty more for you guys in this upcoming year. So thank you guys so much.
Yeah, thank you, Josh Balls, for having us. I mean, this is so cool.
I try my best.
Look out for our reaction video. Look for our reaction video on the best root beer.
Hey, now we're talking. Hey guys, it's your friendly neighborhood Josh Balls, just here telling you that I have a new show coming out. It's going to be called Headbangers, Havoc, and it's going to be on Roadhounds. And you can find it there. What we're going to do is we're going to give away a ton of shit all day, every day. We're going to go live. We're going to do pre-tape interviews. Basically, what we want to do is when you're hanging out at a festival, you only get 4 days with your friends. It's terrible. What we're going to do is we're going to bring that vibe to you 365 days a year, and it's going to be incredible. Not only for bands, but anybody that enjoys bands. So make sure you come check it out. Roadhounds.io. I'll catch you there. Make sure you subscribe.